Mountaineer fans, so guess what? It's time for a reboot. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah. So they might go right to, hey,
Hey there, Mountaineer fans. So, you know what? You know what West Virginia needs? Needs some love. Not from the fans, but from Lady Luck. So, what's best? Hey, Daredevil, what's best for the Mountaineers? Now, I don't suggest the Mountaineers take a knee, but just talked to Brad Smith from the voice of Morgantown. Guys, what a great guy. What a fantastic guy. And he he's polarizing, but that's what makes him so fantastic. Is he's not bootlicking, just to get his creds so he can get up in that press box, keeping it real. Uh really don't know what to think of this matchup. Joey picked Kansas to win. Jackson Johnson picked Kansas to win. Man, I was thinking of picking Kansas, but I thought, no, I have a feeling. I have a feeling that the Mountaineers are going to turn it around and make it even more. Yeah. So someone got the reference. Take a knee like Kaepernick. Yeah. So West Virginia needs something. They need a change. Whether if it's a real defensive coordinator, but guys, when you have multiple outliers, that becomes a trend. If they lose to Kansas, that is a straight trend. Because last year you had two losses they shouldn't have had. This year you would have two losses that they probably now if they're competitive and it gets or if the game gets ahead of them, this is a team that on paper looks just like West Virginia. Now there are key differences, but as far as skill, only thing that jumps off the paper is a guy named Lance. And he's a pretty good ball coach, pretty good recruiter. And West Virginia has decades of success. Kansas has been laying eggs since Easter 1956, guys. So Tim Green says, "What's up, Shane? I'd like to say my score prediction: West Virginia 31, Kansas 17." Tim, last show I said, and I'll say it now: West Virginia 31, Kansas 28. So, why does it look like they're so evenly matched? Well, other than the records, they field a team with a running quarterback. Now Garrett Green is not quite he's mobile, but Jalen Daniels is like Sega Genesis with the turbo button pushed down. So Tim Green says, I think they need to turn Garrett Green loose and let him be himself, like in the pocket. So, Tim, we're going to touch on that too. I'll just go right into it. They had a presser And the coach came out for the Mountaineers and basically addressed this a little bit, saying, oh, yeah, we're letting them. But we all know that Neil Brown rolls his tube socks, puts them in the drawer. A little bit of anal retentive micromanagement type of guy. Okay. It's not a bad thing. But, you know, Garrett Green is as much of an artist as he is with his legs as he is an athlete. And, you know, you didn't have Rich Rod telling Pat White to, you know, to tone it down and stay in the pocket. I don't know if that's happening. But Joey and I were talking, and we kind of think that's happening. Do you think that's happening? I think Tim does. Here's the other thing, guys. So excited about this game. I can hardly talk. It gets into this kid's head, and then it's not reactive. It's more of they're thinking, right? They're processing it before they actually, you know, the muscles kick in and it's reactive. That's enough time for the defense to react, for the play of the pocket to collapse. You guys watch these games. You see it happening. Garrett Green needs to be Garrett Green. Win, lose. But you don't want to make him feel like everything's on him. And I think that's what happened at Penn State. Couple bad things happened, got in his head, and then just everything shit the bed. It happened to me today. I always have my phone. My wife took my phone by mistake. My whole day went to crap. Now, like funny things, you know, like, oh, I can't believe that happened. It just rolls up. It rolls up. And then before you know it, you're caught up and you're like, oh. But Tim Green's saying, I know y'all was going to think I'm crazy, but I think we will win the Big 12 championship this year. Yeah, Timothy Green, you're crazy as cat shit, because guess what? I would love for that to happen. I would absolutely love for the Mountaineers to roll with it and just get going. Get that ball going. And I'm going to pull up the schedule again here. I know we beat that dead horse, but this is a key matchup here. Key matchup. Pulling this up as soon as I. So, if you guys want to, in the comments, give me some ideas for like next Tuesday. Because guess what? We're either going to win, and we're talking about, you know, maybe some bowl games, or if we lose, it's a complete reboot. Do you think I'm crazy? Got to pull this up. I had it up and then I closed it. So with this schedule here, you know, I'm going to pull it up for all you guys and gals to watch, see with me. Okay, so everyone's picking Kansas. Every prognosticator, every website simulation has them winning by about 2 or 3 points. So, would you put money on the game? Would you put a 20 down? You go buy a scratch off. Would you put 20 down? I think I'd rather buy a scratch off, because guys, it's gonna be a tight one. So I'm gonna add this to the stage here. So there's a stretch here. Get something to drink here. There's a stretch in October. Now that is murderous. If the Mountaineers can get through this weekend playing Kansas and winning, and they split those 4 games in October, and here they are. These are the 4 games that I'm talking about. I really don't think West Virginia's going to win all 4 of them. If they do, I'll do a show shirtless. Yeah, and you don't want to see that. But Oklahoma State is going to be Oklahoma State and Kansas are one of the two toughest teams. I would say that's going to be a harder game for West Virginia than Penn State. Because I think they're well coached. They're a good team. I just think it's going to be a bad one, boys. Now, the next week, Iowa State. Iowa State beat Iowa. Iowa, a Big Ten team that's near the top tier. It's about up there with Penn State, and they beat them 2 out of 3 years. 2 out of 3 years is Iowa State team. This Iowa State team that Joey and I have been talking about that no one's given any credit to. So if you look at these 4 games, West Virginia might sneak one out and beat Oklahoma State miraculously. But guess what? Trap game, Iowa State. And yes, I believe in trap games. No one can keep these aren't professional athletes. It's really hard to keep these young men up at that point, at that level. They have to be really well coached. We're going to see exactly where they are mentally with this game. Did Neal Brown lose the team? That's the question. So the reboot 2.0, is it going to be a new coaching staff, a new defensive coordinator after the bye week? Ren Baker is probably going to wait to the end of the season, regardless of what happens. But if you don't have a freaking Big 12 championship matchup featuring the Mountaineers, Neal Brown's going to have to pack his bags, get his walking papers. Now, yeah, Shane, last show you're like, be positive. Don't be positive, don't talk trash. But I'm just stating a fact. There's 2 paths here. One includes Neal Brown, the other one doesn't. Red pill, blue pill, right? Just like the Matrix. Then, guys, Kansas State, Willie the Wildcat and company, they're coming to Morgantown. The only saving grace the Mountaineers have for this one, the Mountaineers have is it's a home game. Right? Iowa State and Kansas State are home games. So let's talk about that. But let me talk about this link. Joey Foster, I think if West Virginia loses, you should invite Tom Luganville on the show and upcoming recruiting and forget about this season. Absolutely. We're talking about recruiting. And guess what? West Virginia loses a lot of good recruits if we do a reboot because they have some studs coming in. That's what hurts more than anything. So I'm going to make this so you guys can see this a little bit better. I'm sorry. Sorry for the tech skills here. Yeah, that's better. That's better, kids. So we have. So Tim Green, out of these 4, what are your thoughts? If you're to split 2, what are the 2 you're going to split? Well, I would say, heck, if you beat Iowa State and Arizona, you'll finish 3rd, 4th, 5th in the conference, 3rd or 4th, maybe, right? If you could steal one of these 2 games here, the Oklahoma State or the Kansas State would be more likely because it's a home game. But I'll tell you what, October 19th, my prediction, Mountaineers are rocking the black unis. Putting on the black unis for that October 19th. It's going to be a night game. Guys, I don't care if West Virginia has lost every game. It's going to be a night game. Maybe 3:30, but probably I'm hoping 7. Hopefully they get their crap together. They beat Kansas. See, right here, the win probability for Bing has West Virginia 54%. I have this up because it's the only one that has West Virginia pick to win. This is the only site. Let me say it again. Only site. So, win at Kansas. Keep this respectable. Beat Iowa State. Beat Arizona and maybe steal a Kansas game. But even if they win, if they have, they're 3 and 3, they're going to be 500. They're going to be 3 and 3. October 19th, Kansas is going to be number 5? Number 5 Kansas coming into Morgantown. This is like Virginia Tech in 03, or when Pitt's good, which hasn't been for quite a while, but this is going to be fantastic. Back in the days when Rutgers was ranked and Miami was number 2 coming into Morgantown. Kansas State is going to be a top 5 team coming in here. We thought Kansas, Joey and I and company, we were talking Kansas as the top tier. We're high on Lance Leipold. We thought they were going to be rolling into Morgantown. Top 10. If they would have won those 2 games, absolutely. Hell, if West Virginia would have won against Pitt, they would be in a conversation in the top 25. They would have got votes. They were getting votes. After the Albany game, they got votes. They had no business getting votes to be in the top 25. Let's go to the chat here. I think they win them all except Arizona because of the travel. Tim, that is a great point. Guys, I travel for work every few months and go out to Oregon. I don't care how good your seats are or how well planned your trip is. Even the best itinerary, it's going to be like 10 hours, okay, to get out there. 10 hours. And they don't make big boy seats. So these kids are crammed in these seats, flying out there, and then you're breathing that recirculated air. Not good. Not good. Guys, that's not good. So, see, Tim, I think it's all an advantage for West Virginia. They are used to travel. If Arizona was coming to Morgantown, then worry about Arizona coming out lost. But West Virginia's used to it. That's a good point, Joey. That is a good point. Good point indeed. So I don't know how you get used to it, but if you haven't done it, it'll creep up on you. Yeah. So let's move on to the rest of the schedule. And I did my prediction last week, but I mean, this is some important stuff because this is pivotal. This is really a big deal, guys. Iowa State's number, man, that's crazy. That's crazy. Iowa State's 20. Kansas 13. Oklahoma State's 14. Very easily, Iowa State can be a top 15 team. These all can be top 15 teams by the time we play them. Then, here's where the schedule gets manageable. West Virginia has its ID. They have their identity. They know who the hell they are and what they're doing. And it's not as much the players as the coaches. Because we felt these growing pains last year. These are the same issues, different season. So, West Virginia, Cincinnati. That will be an interesting one. They have to travel to Cincy for that. Baylor's coming to Morgantown. I think that's a layup for the Mountaineers. But, guys, if West Virginia happens to miraculously beat all of the teams before that, before the Baylor game, your Oklahoma State, your Kansas, your Arizona, Cincinnati, and then they go into Baylor, look for West Virginia to lay an egg. But UCF is a solid team. They're no slouch. Joey seems to think we beat them in the bounce house. We're going to beat them in Morgantown. I don't think that's the case. I think UCF is decent. So, Joe, what's Joey saying? Don't be disappointed if they're 1-7. It's very possible. I don't think they'll be 1-7, but I think they'll beat Cincinnati. I think they'll beat Texas Tech and Baylor. So maybe, 3, like that would be 4 wins for the season. A 4-win season. 3-9. So, yeah, Tim took the positive pill last episode, so he's feeling it. Guys, I want to hear from you. Let me know what you think 2.0 means. Does it mean we turn the page on Neal Brown and look for Jimbo Fisher? Right? Jamie Chiswell. He's a good coach. Who are some other coaching names that come up? Or do you stick with Neal Brown because he's going to have a good recruiting class come in and hope he just finally gets it? Maybe Lady Luck, like I said, right? Maybe Lady Luck strikes. West Virginia gets a little bit of luck there. Opportunity, though, when the opportunity comes up, they have to take advantage of it. When those opportunities, luck being that fumble recovery in the Penn State game. So hopefully they're prepared and they're in a good headspace. Their minds are right. But what are your plans for the Kansas game? Are you going? So I just went to SeatGeek and I bought 3 seats because I'm a season ticket holder, but I have people coming in. And my son's having some friends too. So Penn State seats we're going for $250 a piece. So this is section 130, where my seats are. I got them for $30 a pop. And that was pretty much 35, 45, 55, 65. And then 50-yard line was $100. What's that say about the program? Hell, 15 years ago, I sold Virginia Tech, West Virginia tickets for $250 a pop. And that person drove from Virginia up to Uniontown. And my wife met them in Uniontown. She drove 2 hours down to Uniontown, handed them off. He gave her cash. That's how the program should be. That's how the passion. That's because those Hokie fans wanted to see the Hokies play in Morgantown. Right? LSU, what was that, 10 years ago? Came up, maybe 2013. I can't remember. It was an 8:00 game. Fantastic atmosphere. LSU fans were fantastic. They came in. What a game. It's a bargain. That atmosphere, you can't see a movie for that much anymore. So in 3 weeks, West Virginia's stock has went from here to here. Now, West Virginia would have beat Pitt, those tickets would have went for $75 a piece, $85 a piece instead of the, 30? So, it's very important. And you don't want to step over dollars for dimes. Yes, Neal Brown has a big buyout. But with conference realignment looming, you don't want to be on the cutting block. You don't want to be right at that line. You want to be securely in the top tier of the top 40 programs in the nation. West Virginia cannot withstand another Dana Holgorsen. Can't do it. It's going to kill the program. It's going to kill us as fans. So that's all I have for tonight. Let's see what Tim Green has. I think it'd take nothing short of another Big Ten trip for Neil Green. That is, Tim, we are on the same page there. We are on the same page. And that was the Honey Badger game, and he beat us all by himself, that Honey Badger. That was fantastic. You know, I killed a mole today, and I felt like I was a big game hunter. I like to hunt. But I got so excited because last fall, they ruined my yard in the front. Looked like a golf course. I didn't get one. I had all kinds of different contraptions and poison and all these machines that are supposed to kill them and sound things to push them out. Didn't catch a one. In the past week, I got two. And guess what I did? Stood out there on a bucket for about 20 minutes after I mowed, let the mower run, and you see him kind of move. You see the grass move, and you just whack him with a shovel. That's why I call whack-a-mole, right? Whack-a-mole. So I'm feeling like the riverboat gambler. I'm feeling lucky. I'm thinking West Virginia 32, Kansas 28. So tomorrow night I'll be going to a high school football game, and so you won't see me, but I'll be thinking of you. Lots of love. I'll be at the game. Might do a quick broadcast right after for 5 or 10 minutes. Say hello. But guys, next Tuesday, join me on the show, Voice of College Football, and this show here, West Virginia Mountaineer Mafia. And like, subscribe. Thanks again, and have a great weekend.